I'd barely gotten home from the Sajara fight, and I think I'd been training for a fight for about 6. I'd had 2 fight camps at that point. And we finally got to Sajara Point, and it was kind of like a sigh of relief because, you know, you kind of decompress, let your body heal. But you get that call, it's like, are you really going to say no? And we didn't say no.
We were trying to take some time off, weren't thinking about fighting at all. Aspen was training, not training for a fight, but Aspen's always in the gym every day. But, you know, we weren't paying attention to, you know, necessarily, we were having fun, eating, enjoying that we won, and trying to take a little bit of time off and decompressing from that. So and she ended up getting a call. It was like 5 weeks notice. It was like, oh man. So it was more of a caught off guard type thing, because we just simply weren't expecting them to call us to fight in 5 weeks, let alone as a main event in your hometown.
Speaking of focus, I mean, you're coming in undefeated. You know, what's been the secret to your success?
The secret to my success is, I think, has been the same as my one team the entire time. I've never gotten off track. We've never gotten off track. We've always had one goal in mind. I've had no issues with jumping around, nothing like that. So I think it's really just been staying on course and with people that I trust. Honestly, every fight's just another fight. That one, obviously, it was basically hometown. But I'm one of those weirdos that I don't want to fight at home. It's not something that I like to do. But at the same time, this was an opportunity. Do I really want to pass it up? And didn't do it.
Think as much as if you get the win here, that you get the next shot at the title. Do you see anything to you about that?
Not at all. I think similar to myself, they don't really look past the next fight. And I haven't really considered anything past this Saturday. Jermaine is the #1 contender, so there's certain implications there. I have a lot of people that like to talk shit as far as weight cutting, all that goes. Like, you're little, you're that. I'm not. And it is difficult. I do it. It's part of my job, and I'm not going to complain about it because you just shouldn't. But cutting weight 2 times in the 6-week period was a little bit rough on the body, and I made it. It just was not fun. I always use an example because I was the most high-profile one on that card, is the best way to look at it, and that's not being conceited or whatever else, because there's a ton of other fighters that either missed, or because we were fighting in California, and mind you, I didn't want to fight in California because I know the rules, and I know what weight I get up to after I've cut weight every time without fail, whether it's been a good cut or a bad cut. But I was above their threshold, and then a bunch of other fighters were too. I think there's about 60 in California total during that little time period. But I was the one chosen and kind of singled out.
Official weight 135 pounds for Aspen Lad, Durandamy. Official weight 136 pounds for Jermaine Durandamy.
All of it, and just being very, very frustrated very quickly. It's like, oh, come on, man, what? And then it's like, you can't fix it. There's no restart. There's no redo. It's like, well, that sucks. I lost the fight. Jermaine's a great competitor. I was still aware, so I wish he hadn't stopped the fight. But there's nothing I can do about it now.
Do you think that your weight cut had anything to do with performance tonight? We saw a really scary weight cut. How do you feel today?
No, I've had terrible weight cuts in the past. Always came through. This was just me staying still a little bit too long.
And any loss is tough. That one was tough for several reasons. Obviously, being your first loss, being the main event for the UFC at 23 years old, that doesn't happen to everyone, right? And but in the loss, we knew exactly what Aspen did wrong. And we knew going into the fight, if we made that specific mistake and threw a lazy jab, that Jermaine was going to counter with her powerful right hand. She's got a very, very good right hand. She's very long. And going into the fight, I remember literally as we were walking out, the last thing I said to Aspen was, "Don't throw that lazy jab. Don't throw that lazy left hook. She's going to counter it right away." And sure as shit, she did. So it was one of those things where we knew going in, if we did that, it was likely we might get hit with that right hand, and it did, and it happened, and you know, it is what it is, and Aspen literally was back training the next day in our gym, and hungry for the next opportunity.
How does somebody, I mean, no matter how, how did you rebound from a loss like that? Because it was your first pro loss. It was on a big stage. You had all the weight cut stuff on top of you. Like, you know, was it one of those things you just get back in the gym and just focus and just kind of, because it was such a quick fight?
Win or lose, I get back in the gym and I refocus, period, because even when I do well, it's still, I have a lot of work to work on. There's usually a failure of some kind there that I need to try to get better. That's just to get back on the horse. Like, your career is not made by one fight. I'm not here for just one fight here, one fight there. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So yeah, I came out on a huge stage in front of everybody I knew and I lost. It happens. There's nothing I can do except get back on the horse, get back to training, and get back to fighting. Aspen
is very, very mentally focused, very, very strong-willed, very smart, very, very intelligent. It didn't really affect her. It pissed her off. And moving into the next fight, she was prepared.